Hey guys, Type Zero. So we've already covered basically how to get your DAW going, how to make sure your plugins are loading up properly, how to select your audio driver, how to add an audio track, how to add a MIDI track. Sometimes some plugins actually take multiple MIDI line inputs, and that's actually really kind of useful, both in terms of lowering the overall CPU load on your system. Though not that big of a concern these days with the modern, Core i7, 16 gigs worth of computing power that we've got. But sometimes you do want to be able to use multiple MIDI lines to control a single plugin. For example, if you're using something like VST that can support multiple patches at the same time, it's actually really useful to be able to do that. So for example, I'm going to create another empty project here, and just like before, I'm going to add in a plugin. So F11 for our VST instrument shortcut key, and we're going to go add in the VST Snow, which is a hardware synth that's actually kind of neat because it actually uses a USB connection to send all of its audio and MIDI data directly to the computer. That way you don't need an outboard mixer or to patch it in directly into a sound card with multiple inputs. We're going to open up the plugin right here, and we're going to be pretty much ready to go right off the bat. So here's my plugin, and if I select we'll select the square base here. Let's change it up. Perfect. All right. So now we got our TI Snow right here. We can add in a MIDI line for it. Like I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of the shortcut keys. So instead of always switching back and forth between the Draw tool and the Select tool, I like staying on the Select tool and just holding down Alt. Alt will automatically change the cursor to the Draw tool, so you can see it there changing. So I can add in my MIDI line, and just by letting go of Alt, I'm already in my selection tool, so I can quickly go into the MIDI roll. And let's just draw in a quick little pattern here for us. It's something simple, like sure. Something like that. Perfect. All right. I'm going to copy that. We're going to paste that over. That way we got a little bit of a nice loop going on there. Now, if I wanted to add in, for example, another VST, it won't let me because the hardware is already being used. But what I can do is I can add another MIDI connection to it. So you can see here that it actually supports multiple MIDI connections. So I can go in, I can add in a MIDI track just like before. We're going to call this one TI2. Why not? I'm going to add track. And over here, I can actually select what synth I want to send it to. So directly underneath is your actual MIDI channel. So if I go over here, you can see that this one is on channel 1 and this one's on channel 2. So you look at the volumes here, depending on which channel I'm actually on, you can see the volume goes up for that one. So I can switch over here and we can select a new sound, and I can go in and actually create another pattern using this synth. Even though both of them are coming off the VST, they're both triggering completely different sounds. Sure, we're going to go with something like that. And you can do that as many times as the plugin will actually support. If you click on the little channel plug here, you can see that there's up to 16 channels. 16 is the original specifications for MIDI that came out way back in the day. So plugins don't generally tend to go past 16. There are some regimented rules regarding the best practices as to what should be on what channel. In the DAW era, a lot of those rules kind of fell to the wayside, and it really just kind of comes down to you being able to do whatever you want, however you want. That's literally as easy as it gets. I mean, we got one plugin, we got 2 MIDI channels, we got 2 completely different tones. We're pretty much ready to go.